Good evening and welcome to Match of the Day special, in which, despite the atrocious weather, we're able to bring you two football matches. Chelsea against Blackburn Rovers comes later, and we shall start the football action with Everton against champions Aston Villa, a game that kept the spectators leaping up and down to cope with the conditions. And when the football's finished, you'll see leaping of a different kind from Olympia, where this year's competitors in the Puissance attempt to emulate, or even better, Patrick Caron, who a year ago, riding Gay Sada, jumped to new British record height as 7 feet 5 1/4 inches.
Well, tonight's headlines: Dennis Chewett damages an Achilles tendon and is out for the rest of the season. New Zealand win 5-0 but still fail to clinch that final World Cup place. And at home we bring you up to date on the transfers involving Dave Watson and Francois van der Elst.
Well, 2 weeks ago, we saw Everton stop Swansea from going to the top of the division. Well, now it's the chance to see how they handle last season's champions, Aston Villa, who, it must be said, are finding it far more difficult to hold on to the title than they did to win it. Your commentator is John Watson.
Thanks to the underground piped heating here at Goodison Park, the match goes ahead on a pitch where last February, Aston Villa's Tony Morley scored the BBC's goal of the season. But Morley hasn't scored now for 12 games, and it's that sort of lean spell which has cost his colleague, Gary Shaw, his place in today's Villa lineup. Besides dropping Shaw, Ron Saunders also leaves out Gary Williams and Eamon Deasy, so Noel Blake at number 5 and Terry Bullivant at number 6 get their first league match for 2 seasons. And with Peter With still suspended, the front 2 players today are Terry Donovan and David Geddes. After losing to Ipswich in the League Cup, Everton make 5 changes. In goal, Neville Southall replaces Jim Arnold. At number 4, Mark Higgins is preferred to Mike Walsh. At number 7, Alan Irvine makes his debut because Steve McMahon is injured. It's Peter Eastoe at number 10 for Alan Bailey, and Paul Lodge at number 11 for Eamon O'Keefe. Neville Southall cost £150,000 from Bury last summer. He's 23, and so too is Alan Irvine, who came in the close season as well from Queen's Park in Scotland. Indeed, Irvine and Southall were the first 2 players Howard Kendall signed for Everton, and the manager himself today plays in the same team. Referee Colin Seal, who's just had a run around the pitch. It's actually very hard in one goalmouth and much softer in another, but it's a compliment to the Everton ground staff that the match goes ahead, and a vindication of the heating system, which is in fact the third that they've tried here at Goodison Park. The first 2 were not successful, but this one looks as though it's going to be. And it's Everton who play from the left in the first half, wearing the white shorts. Howard Kendall with the throw. Here's Stevens. Kendall. Referee spots the infringement there and gives Everton a free kick. And he came in on that. Hooked back in by Ross. That's Des Bremner with the overhead, and it was Sharp with the header. And there may well have been a player offside anyway. Eastoe being marked by Blake. Oh dear, Sharp's in. And here's Eastoe! Didn't get any power in his shot. And the chance went much to the relief of Noel Blake. Well, Blake's back pass intercepted by Sharp. Rimmer came well to meet him, but when the ball came back off the goalkeeper, Eastoe had an opportunity which, perhaps with match sharpness, he might have put away, but he's been out for a while and he didn't strike the ball well. Both teams beaten in midweek, and each needing an injection of confidence at this stage of the season. That was Sharp for Everton, who've only won 1 of their last 6. Aston Villa lying 17th. Here's Eastoe, there's Lyons. Was he shoved? Penalty. Penalty to Everton, Lyons fouled. And Donovan has continued the protest for so long and so fiercely that I think he's in trouble. Lions have got up into the Aston Villa penalty area. He was shoved, and Donovan was so incensed by the referee's decision that he's going to be booked. Now, last season, at this same end, Trevor Ross scored from a penalty against Jimmy Rimmer. And that same little scenario between those two will take place once Donovan's booking has been recorded. Lions, who gave a penalty away, curiously, in that corresponding match last season. So I wonder whether the battle of wits between Ross and Rimmer will bear fruit on either side. And Alan Evans has said something to the referee, and I think he wants a word with him now. Rimmer is shouting in. Villa's protests continue. Evans in trouble this time. And the Villa players would do well to go away, because the referee's in no mood to prolong the argument. But it looks to me as though Des Bremner's name's going in now. Well, he's certainly spoken at length to Bremner as well. So Ross with the kick. And he misses it. Well, Donovan needn't have been so vociferous after all. Trevor Ross not striking it cleanly, he scuffed it rather wide of the post, although Rimmer anyway had gone in the right direction. So drama early on here. And that might produce one or two interesting moments from now on, I would think. There are one or two Villa players who are very unhappy about all that, but not with the net result, it might be said. Here's Kendall. Well played, Stevens. That header was by Cowans. There's Bully Ventral. Higgins came charging in, and Swain in the end went down the right wing, collected the ball from Donovan. It was his cross. Offside flag is up. Geddes in the centre, I think, was the man who was pulled up there. Well, Ron Saunders knows Goodison well. He was an Everton player. And I must say, between these two clubs, you always seem to get incident, and today, so far, no exception. Evans got one in the face as Eastoe jumped, but it's all Everton here. It's Irvin taking on Blake. Corner. As Eastoe went up for the ball there, Alan Evans got a bang in the face, which he's still recovering from. Indeed, maybe concussed. Hard life for a ball boy in weather like this. Lions! Oh! It's in. Mike Lyons coming off the near post for the corner, taken by Lodge. Lyons got the flick header on it. It went beyond Rimmer. And there were two Everton players on hand to make absolutely sure it was in. 21 minutes gone. The Everton captain, the only ever present in the side this season, gets the telling touch there to make up perhaps for the missed penalty, which Ross won't feel so bad about now. Can Villa reply almost at once? Gordon Cowans to take the corner. Short to Bullivant. Cowans. There's Morley. Flags up here. An offside. Goal coming then at a good time for Everton, just when that early rush appeared to be lacking any true reward. Got it back well. Donovan's at the near post, and Southall holding on in a cluster of players. One of whom was Donovan. Well, it was a case of Lyons trying to shake off Donovan there. Aston Villa without the power in the air of Peter With have pushed Evans forward again, but it's been played short to Cowans. This time Morley finds Bullivant in some space. Well, he had time to line that up. Goal kick. There's Swain. So at half-time, Everton leading by a goal which said much about Mike Lyons' presence in the penalty area at set pieces. And that made up for an early penalty miss by Trevor Ross, number 8. Those the two main incidents in the first half. Well, that's not the new Goodison Park dance. That's a way of keeping warm when the temperature is below freezing and you're standing on the terraces. There's one other way of watching football, and that's to sit in the opulent surroundings of the new executive boxes. And what a contrast between the people in there and those out in the cold. Everton fans hoping the Lions' goal might be an omen. His only other goal this season came here against West Brom, and Everton won 1-0. Kendall. This is Sharp. Irvin. Sharp again. Well played by Evans. Evans. Mistake by Swain. There's Bullivant. This is Irvin. It's got Sharp through the middle. Eastoe closer to him, number 10. Kendall. Stevens had pushed well forward also. Do like the look of Alan Irvin, I must say. He's got past Gibson there. Lyons in the box. Irvin again. Another decent cross. Lyons again. Well, it was a gamble putting him in today. Howard Kendall admitted that, but Alan Irvine came down from Scotland in the summer. Looks to have some potential on the right-hand side for Everton. Flags up offside. Irvine again. Sharp. Ross. And Ross goes on. And a good bit of play by Noel Blake. Nice 1-2 initially between Trevor Ross and Graham Sharp, putting Ross back in, but Blake made sure he never had the angle for the shot. It's a corner instead, to be taken by Lodge. Away by Donovan. Lodge again. Cowans. Well, that was a nasty collision there. Sharp was the Everton player involved, and Donovan from Aston Villa. And when they talk about the qualities that are needed to win the English First Division, and Aston Villa know only too well after last season, courage comes pretty high up the list in conditions like this. Header by Lyons, one of the most courageous men you'll find around. That's an offside. In Britain, we take the physical side of the game for granted because it's on that so much of our play is based, but players prepared to give everything on a very tricky surface. Here's Blake. And here's Eastoe. And it's still Eastoe, and Evans trying to... Oh, he did. Alan Evans comes storming out with the ball. And here's Swain. Oh, now, an Everton player left on the ground there. The challenge was by Swain. And it looked late to me. Trevor Ross is the Everton player down. And the linesman will be asked by the referee what he thought about that. Well, it looked a late challenge to me from here, but it's very much a question of what the referee and linesman saw, or how they saw it. Just going back to that last incident, there was an amazing situation there where Blake made an error, which on another day would have been more heavily punished, but how well Alan Evans battled away to compensate. So Trevor Ross hobbles back into action. And a glance in the direction of Ken Swain. Bremner. Tackled by Lodge. Evans and Eastoe. And Eastoe wins it. Support arriving now in the centre. This is Lodge. Donovan. Morley out left. This is Bremner. And now it's Gibson for Aston Villa. Still a goal down. Helped on by Cowans. And so, casually and yet effectively knocked back by Howard Kendall. And Morley's header. A free kick to Everton. made his customary way forward. It's aimed at Eastoe. Nice flick, here's Lyons. It came off Evans, it's still free to Sharp. And again, the presence in the penalty area of the Everton captain sends the opposing defence into all sorts of disarray. Mike Lyons again causing problems. He didn't quite get his shot in there. When the ball came loose, Sharp certainly did, and it was just wide. On by Geddes to Donovan, and Bremner can shoot here. Those aren't easy for goalkeepers on this sort of pitch. Bremner, who got a couple against Nottingham Forest recently, and Neville Southall showing how to get the body as well as the hands behind the ball. Eastoe, Sharp, Eastoe! Oh, he's hit the bar! Sharp's coming in for the rebound, stopped by Swain, corner. But Eastoe, the man who got 18 goals last season and who Everton have missed so badly this year, hit that magnificently. It beat Rimmer, and it almost broke the crossbar. Swain beats Sharp on the jump for the rebound. But it was a spectacular effort, that, and Everton have a corner. Away by Blake, on by Bullivant, Ratcliffe, Kendall, Ratcliffe again. Irvine, nice turn. Pulled it back to Sharp, who couldn't make it. He might now. It's Kendall with the shot. Oh, foul surely there on Swain inside the area by Lyons, I fancy. Irvine again showing some fine skill in the build-up. But Eastoe's power drive, one of the highlights of the afternoon. Swain. Here's Cowans for Villa. Geddes, Bullivant. Gibson, Morley. Oh. So the player manager with the throw. Looks for Eastoe. Just a couple of minutes left now, with Everton leading 1-0. That was Gibson. This is Morley. Skipping his way past opponents and then giving the ball away. Wasn't really meant for Stevens, but it found him. Kendall. Cowans, Stevens. Miscue by Blake. Here's Irvine. There's nobody coming in on it, but it'll be retrieved by Lodge. Ross is well forward here, number 8. It came off him, and that was Eastoe! Making the 3-point save in virtually the last minute. The ball from Irvine on the right caused the trouble. Lodge retrieved it. Ross came through. It came back to Eastoe, and his finishing was sure. A nice return for Peter Eastoe. And And it looks like being a return of 3 points for Everton today. Here's Swain. Cowans. And that was back by Ross, which will give Aston Villa a corner. Evans is well forward, but he's headed it the wrong way. Swain, safe enough. And here's Cowans. Central characters in that Everton victory. One man who's played over 600 league games, the player-manager Howard Kendall, and one who played his first today, number 7 there, Alan Irvine. But a compliment to Alan Story and his ground staff, the groundsman here at Goodison Park, for getting the pitch playable thanks to that piped heating. The conditions held up surprisingly well, and Aston Villa, the league champions, go into Christmas only 2 points ahead of the bottom 3. Everton 2, Aston Villa 0.
A satisfying win for you, Howard, especially when you didn't seem to know what your team was going to be until the very last minute today.
No, we had 3 fitness tests this morning, and I had 16 in the squad, and it was just a case of if these players came through the fitness test to achieve a balance in the side, which I felt was a lot better today than has been in a couple of games previous.
Now, the real newcomer, because people hadn't seen him before at this level, was Alan Irvine. And I think although he was technically your first signing, you perhaps give your predecessor some credit for that.
Oh, most certainly, yeah. Gordon Lee had set the deal up before I came to the club, and I was delighted, really. I mean, when I saw Alan play, that we had someone of his ability on the staff. With Alan Ainscoe's injury, we haven't had a right-sided player, natural right-sided player, since then. And I feel that we are better balanced when we have that. And I took a chance with Alan today. He's been turning in good performances at the Central League level, and he was excellent today.
Irvine has had these lovely moments on the ball. He's looking for Sharp, his fellow Scot. We've always appreciated the skillful side of football at Goodison Park, and Irvine is turning it on the right wing today. He's got by Evans. He's got his cross in, away by Blake.
You must have been quite pleased about the way it went.
I'm very happy, actually, yes. Started off a bit nervous, really, and I decided early on just to try and do things quite simply. But the second half I really enjoyed.
What was it like having the manager actually on the field as a playing colleague?
Well, he's great for giving advice all the time. I just kept on looking to him to find out where I should be standing, really. And, you know, he helped me an awful lot during the game, as did the other lads, actually.
And we're pleased you can talk to us today, because when Match of the Day came here last time, the mouth wouldn't permit you to speak, would it?
No, 8 stitches in the way of it. Yeah, I'm delighted to talk to you, especially after a win.
Well, just for the record, that was Howard Kendall's 613th league game, and Alan Irvine's first. The young man has some way to go yet. But in these days, when we're crying out for players to go past people, I particularly enjoyed this moment in the second half, where nothing was going to stop him getting to the goal line and getting his cross over. Well, in case you're wondering, under the conditions, I thought Everton rather lucky to get a penalty awarded. Jimmy Rimmer did move early, about 10 minutes, I should say, but even so, the Villa players were unprofessional in collecting penalty points needlessly. Well, now we go to Stamford Bridge to see Chelsea against Blackburn Rovers. With 3 points for a win, either side could easily sprint into the hot promotion zone with a sequence of wins, so there was little thought of playing for a point. Your commentator at Stamford Bridge, Barry Davis.
The only surviving match in the southern half of England will certainly have a bright start as far as the weather is concerned. Although, as Julian Wilson might put it, the going is decidedly firm. George Anstis and his staff have had to work hard on the pitch, removing a certain amount of snow and ice, and it will be pretty slippery on the near side because of the shadow of the old stand. On the pitch, it's an afternoon for the brave, and on the terraces for the hardy, and we hope the spectators there are full of the festive spirit. And their team has certainly been going well of late. 2 wins and 2 draws in an unbeaten run, and 1 or 2 new names have come into the side, notably Hutchings, who's made that left-back position his own this season, and at number 4, Kevin Hales, who scored the first goal of his career in their last success against Sheffield Wednesday in their last home match here. The Blackburn lineup differs in no less than 7 places compared with that which played here in the league last March. The latest signing being Norman Bell, who came 3 weeks ago from Wolves. And also missing last spring was Noel Brotherston, whose absence at a crucial part of the season arguably cost Blackburn promotion. In the end, they lost out on goal difference to Swansea City. The referee, unchanged from last week, Dennis Hedges of Headington, who was in charge at Loftus Road 7 days ago. Blackburn wearing white shorts, and it is this near side which will cause the greatest problems. Blackburn, incidentally, haven't won on this ground since 58-59 season. Although more recently they haven't conceded a goal for 3 games. There's Colin Lee. Keeley. John Bumstead finding Walker very nicely indeed. Two teams bracketed together just outside the promotion lineup in 7th and 8th positions. Brotherston. It's Kevin Arnott, currently on loan from Sunderland. And David Hamilton has come into the side because of the injury to Mike Rathbone. First free kick goes to Blackburn. Graham Wilkins. And Keeley has come up right at the back there. And the flag is up for offside. And I think the referee just wants a few words to sort out the disagreement between Mickey Droy and Norman Bell. Ends with smiles all round. And our first chance to have a look at 17-year-old Steve Francis, who's keeping Peter Barota out of the Chelsea side, and indeed Bob Isles. Bumstead. Hamilton. Obstruction by Hamilton on Lee. Geno half came and then stayed, but the angle was too great for Colin Lee. Well, he had nothing to do with the pitch, that. Lee had no chance of beating the angle. Miller, push and go pass is another useful tactic this afternoon. Plenty of support in the middle. But it was Garner who was beaten by the angle, although his chance was better than Lee's had been at the other end. It's some good play by Miller, just pushed it and ran and got across into an unmarked man, but Garner couldn't time the jump properly. Bell, Garner, it's a good try and a good stop. He'll recover. Simon Garner from some distance plenty of power behind the shot. And the goalkeeper got it on the wrist of his right arm and was always going to recover for any oncoming forward. For Zachary. Federer's run created the space for Troy. Nice flick on. The goalkeeper did well as Hales got the shot in, but the flag was up anyway for offside. Geno is hurt. As he came out then, he fell awkwardly. It's his right knee which is causing the problems. Pitch certainly harder than that at Loftus Road last week. It's Bobby Saxton, the manager, with a rather suitable headgear for the afternoon. Still going to clear with his right. Met by Pates. Halfway through the first half. And as yet, no score. And really only one goalkeeping save, and that came from Steve Francis. Brotherston. Room here for Hamilton. Didn't balance himself before he put the ball across. Stonehouse for Zachary. Garner. Arnott was there slightly ahead of the ball. And a fine try and a good parry. He did very well then, Kevin Arnott, to play the ball off, because he'd gone a little bit too early actually, but he played it off well to Garner, who struck it beautifully. And the goalkeeper flung himself and got the parry. Garner on the far post. Miller. Out by Lee. Exactly. He got it down nicely. Really produced no power in the shot. Garner. Bell. Mays played it early for Walker, who was pulled. And the free kick has been given. Walker turns to applaud the referee, with whom he's had the old conversation earlier in the match. All credit to Alan Mays, who saw the possibilities of that very early. Played it first time, and but for the pull, would probably have got Walker in on Geno. Wilkins to take. Here's Fillery. Hit it well, but just wide. And he set his sights, he kept the ball down. Few seconds the referee wants to add on for a couple of lectures and one injury. Fillery looking for Walker once again. Brannigan's followed him out to the left. Fillery has been involved in the best we've seen of Chelsea in this half. Brotherston looking for Bell, it's too long. Check of the referee's watch is enough. And the teams go away to the dressing rooms at the end of a first half which failed to produce a goal. Two saves made by Steve Francis, doing most to ensure that. And it's an afternoon when it's an art to keep warm, and few will be warmer than Stamford, the Chelsea mascot. And it's the mascots team which gets the second half underway. Chelsea now attacking the goal to our left. And really, they will feel a little disappointed that with the possession they had in the first period, they didn't test Terry Geno at all. Wilkins with the first free kick of the second half. Colin Pates has gone forward, out by Hamilton. Miller, Walker, and Keeley stayed back. Lee, Brotherston. Villery, Bumstead, Mays, Bumstead has gone left, Lee has gone right, and very, very nicely worked indeed. Really good play by Chelsea, given the finish by Colin Lee. And they're a great deal warmer now at the popular end of Stamford Bridge, or indeed in the stand as well. Nicely played by Bumstead and by Mays. Mays had two options, chose Lee, and Lee finished the move in style. Enjoying the celebration. Hales applying the brakes and finding a very good ball, but all credit to Brannigan, who turned very well. Brotherston. Nothing left of him. Stonehouse. This is Hales. And this is promising. And Hales again, lovely return once more by Mays. And deserved better finish. Or better luck with the finish, I should say. And he linked very, very well then with Kevin Hales, who demanded the others and his team get out of his way, and he made a very, very positive run, straight at the heart of the Blackburn defence. Met by Joy, out by Vizakali. Lee very calm about it, but Bumstead is offside. Wilkins. There's a good forward run by Hales, but he wasn't found. I think it's going well for Chelsea with an hour of the match gone. One goal in the net. Mays has played a considerable part in Chelsea's improvement in the first quarter of an hour of the second half. And here's Walker found from the throw. Bumstead, and offside against Villery, it won't count. Villery was forward of the play, and Bumstead's shot in fact hit him on the back, and he comes away smiling, there's Villery. There's no doubt that the referee would disallow that. Oh, what a pity that Joy didn't use the ball better after moving with such grace. Bell, taken by Garner. Good running by Miller, useful cross too, and very nearly a fine goal by Stonehouse. But he had to pull back and get round to that, and it caused problems for young Francis, but it was wide of the post. And the cold afternoon has attracted a little over 11,000 spectators to Stamford Bridge. It's unfortunate when the ground staff have worked so hard to get a match on that the afternoon is too cold for spectators to come. Should there be said, it's traditionally the worst Saturday of the season for crowd figures, the Saturday immediately prior to Christmas. Zachary. Good header by Keeley. Out by Joy. Brotherston. Mistake by Pates. And the header. And is in by Miller. But he nearly made it, did Francis. But Miller reacting well to the mistake by Pates, whose intended clearance went across the goal, and the looping, rather curling header just brushing the far post and going in for 1-1. 53 minutes gone, and we're back to all square. Colin Lee. His goal has now been nullified. Hales. Still. And well used. Hutchings. Joy. Bumstead. Here's Alan Mays. Beautifully done. Good stop by Geno. Lovely back flick by Mays, which set up the chance for Bumstead. Alan Mays right in the heart of the action, and a bit of quick thinking setting up the opportunity. Geno got down very sharply. Graham Wilkins. Keeley puts the ball into the upper tier. Intended back pass produces the corner, for which Joy is coming steaming forward. And this time goes all the way. Walker has also come into the area. Here's Colin Lee. Gano's lost it. Bumstead's shot was blocked. Joy! Well, he had to snatch at it. And it flew with some ferocity wide. And it ends as a point apiece from a goal apiece. Colin Lee giving Chelsea the lead a minute into the second half, and Miller equalising with the header which brushed the far post from a defensive error. And really, after the exertions of the second half, I've got a feeling that both managers will feel rather disappointed.
So, from all the clubs, and all the Match of the Day team and Bob and me, we send Christmas tidings of enormous goodwill to you, our viewers. See you on Boxing Day. Meantime, happy Christmas and good night.
Eastoe, sharp. Eastoe! Oh, he's hit the bar! Ross is well forward here, number 8. It came off him, and that was Eastoe!